Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are going to discuss one more interesting React interview question. So without any further delay, let's get started. So what's the problem statement for today? So today's problem statement is write a custom hook named useUpdateEffect and what it should do, which ensures that our effect runs only on updates, which means first render should be skipped on component load. So basically, we have to write a hook which should execute its callback, which should execute the callback on updates only. Basically, the first render or the first execution should be skipped. So I hope the problem statement is clear. Now let's jump into the solution. So for this problem implementation or the solution implementation, we are continuing on our yesterday's code base only. So a quick recap on what we did yesterday. So yesterday we implemented use effect once. And what this hook did was it rendered the callback or it executed the callback on first load only and all the subsequent updates were skipped. As the name suggests, that the effect should run once only in its life cycle, in the component life cycle, and that once is the component load. Rest all render executions should be skipped. And today we are going to write the vice versa. Basically, the first execution should be skipped, and the further updates, whenever there is a state updates in the component, then our callback should be rendered or should be executed. So basically, what we are trying to do in both of these exercises, like yesterday's and today's, we are actually dividing the use effect into two different hooks. One is use effect once, which runs on component load only, and second, which we are going to write today, which is use update once, which should e- execute on updates only. So basically, use effect will be divided into two separate hooks, one which runs on component load, and second which runs on updates only. So that is how we are trying to practice our understanding of the React hooks. And if you haven't watched our yesterday's video, please go ahead and watch the yesterday's video where we have discussed in length basically that how you should go about implementing the use effect once hook, because there are multiple solutions to that, and but the right solution is one only. Rest all solutions are something which are not going to help you in the interview, so you should definitely go and check that out. So for today's implementation, let's jump into the code. So as you can see on the screen, we have a counter uh, and the button which can actually update the state of the count, or basically can trigger the update for our component. And we can see that as well, that whenever I'm incrementing the count, our is use effect callback is getting executed, but use effect once is not getting executed because it should, as the name suggests, it should execute on component load only, or basically at once only, and all further executions should be skipped. So that is what we implemented yesterday, and now we will see how we can implement use update once. And basically when we will implement that, we should not see this message for use update once, but rest of the messages should be visible. Or to say use update once count 0, we will never see a message for this hook, but all the further updates for count we will see with use update once. Cool. I hope that makes sense. So for that, this is the code we have. Count is the state which we have, and this was the hook which we implemented yesterday, and this is use effect, like which gets executed on load and on updates as well. This use effect once, which we implemented yesterday, gets executed on component load only. And now we will implement use update once, which will be executed for updates only. And for that, let me create one file here, which we will name it as use update effect dot hook dot ts. Cool. And here I can say export function use, let me collapse it, use update effect, right? And it should take two parameters. One is the effect callback, and we will define the type effect callback, right? And the de dependencies effect, it's a array of dependencies. So maybe I will define it as array of any for now, right? So that is, or maybe any instead of any, I will name it as array of unknown. Cool. I hope we are clear till here, right? Now, what we can do is uh, I can, so as we did yesterday, I can create a ref, right, by which we will maintain the state if the component, if the effect has been executed or not yet, or basically if the effect has been loaded into the component state or not yet. So I can initialize a ref.useRef, right? And by default I keep it as false. And here I can import React, and now I will use the React.useEffect, right? Right. Now, if ref has not been loaded yet, it's the uh, very first request which is coming inside this callback. And what should happen in that case? We will set it to true, right? And we will return from here only because it's the first cycle when we are here, and we don't want our effect to execute in the first cycle. So we will return the control from here only. If actually it would be not. If the ref.current is false, which is for the very first time, we will come here and we will set it to true. And for all further requests which are coming inside here, it should be const cleanup function, which we will get as a result of the calling the callback. Sorry, this effect callback is the name, effect callback, and we will return the cleanup function from this if cleanup is there and cleanup, right? And because we are using use effect here, we will define the dependency, and which we discussed yesterday, the very important topic, we should define the or populate the dependencies which this effect is dependent on. So I hope you are clear with the implementation. So what we did is actually this will also be here in the dependencies, because we want our callback to run, we want our use effect to run whenever these dependencies are changing, right? And effect callback is also part of the dependency list. So we defined both the dependencies here, and what we are doing is we are initializing a ref with the default value of false, and when the execution is coming here for the very first time, we are initializing or setting it to true ref.current, and we are returning from here only, we are returning the control back. And whenever there is update happens, any update happens on the dependencies, right, then what we are doing is we are doing basically calling the use effect, the parameter which we are getting, and it may return the cleanup function. And if the cleanup exists, then what we will do is we will call that cleanup. I hope that makes sense. Now let's test it into the integration with our component, and I can import that hook here, use update effect, right? And here I can give the same message, use update effect, and it is dependent on the count. So whenever the count changes, my this effect should run, right? So now let's see if we have supplied all the required parameters. So use update effect, it is receiving the callback function as the first parameter, and the dependency array as the second parameter. So here if we go, the callback as a first parameter, and array of unknown, basically maybe I can dependency list, I can define the type dependency list, and here we are uh, here we are doing the required implementation, which is based on reference use ref hook only. And for we are skipping the first render, and all updates we are calling the effect callback, which may or may not return the cleanup function. And if does exist, we are calling the cleanup, and it is dependent on these two dependencies. One is the dependency array, which we are supplying as a second parameter, and second is the callback itself. So that makes sense. Let me save this, and let me save this as well, and this should work. Cool. So let me clean all this and refresh the screen once. Cool. Page is refreshed as expected. Use effect count 0 gets executed. Use effect once count 0 gets executed, and this gets skipped. Now let's test if it actually gets skipped or there is any bug. There is any bug in the code. And that we can check. When I increment this count, then I should see use effect count 1 and use update effect count 1, and this will be skipped now. So fingers crossed. Increment. Increment. Oh, cool. We did it. So use effect count 1 is there, and use update effect count 1 is there, and this is skipped now. And we can keep on doing that. We did it. Let's test one more time. This will continue to work for both on load and updates. This will work on load only, and this will work on updates only. So as we do, cool, this is fine. So this is how we implemented both the hooks. So use update once. Here we basically executed our callback once only, and all further updates we skipped, or basically we returned from here. And in today's implementation, here we skipped the first update, and all further updates we processed, or basically we executed our callback, and with proper TypeScript rules and ESLint rules respected. We have not disabled any ESLint configurations or anything. From the TypeScript point of view, we have defined proper types in our solution. So that is something which you can implement in your projects, or you can prepare yourself for the interviews as well, and you can prepare your answer depending upon the implementation which we have done today. So I hope today's session was insightful. You get to build your understanding on the concepts, basically what use effect is and how we can divide the use effect into two separate hooks, one for onload and one for the updates. So if you find our videos helpful, smash that subscribe button and support our channel with like and share. I'm your friend Manish, and we will come back soon with one more interesting interview question video. Until then, bye bye, take care of yourself, have a good night, bye.